Hi, everybody. As
Hi,
I told
everybody.
you, this is my husband, Steve.
Hello.
And I told everybody the story of how first of all, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Um, I told everybody the story of what I thought he felt when we first introduced the tech to him. But now I want to actually hear his side of the story. And actually, first off, do you consider yourself a skeptic?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let's hear what you actually experienced.
So, you guys heard the story. I took some falls and stuff working out in the yard and things, and she puts this tech on me, and she tells me there's no drugs in it, there's no other stuff in it. It's basically just a code that talks to my brain. And I'm thinking, yeah, right. But I'm also thinking, okay, what have I got to lose? And so I let her put this thing on me, and it was insoles actually at that time, and I started wearing them. And within about 3 or 4 days, I realized that I was a lot stronger on my feet. I just felt steady on my feet. I certainly wasn't falling down, anymore. I'm still a klutz, but when I would trip, I would recover. I wouldn't fall. So that was pretty cool. Really the main thing. And then over time, as I kept wearing it, I started realizing that I just kind of felt better in general. So I really started believing that I don't know what it was, but there's something to this.
And actually, you had a surgery in there too.
I did. I had a surgery. The surgery was supposed to take about 8 weeks for recovery, and I was anticipating a fair amount of pain in the early recovery phase. Um, and the doc allowed me to wear my Vox socks during surgery, and I wore them, for the next 2 or 3 days while I was still in bed recovering. But um, I was in a pretty good deal of pain the first day, and I was taking my medication and sleeping and doing all the things you do after you have surgery. I went to sleep that night, woke up really early because I'd slept a lot the next day. And when I got out of bed, I realized I don't need these heavy pain meds anymore. I'm going to take some Advil and see what that does. And I never had to use the heavy stuff again. My 8 week recovery was actually 6 weeks. And so the only thing I can really attribute all that to, other than, wanting to get better, was the Vox stuff that I was using.
And that's actually when he said to me, I think there might actually be something to this technology. So I felt like, oh, that was huge strides that we made there.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been wearing the technology now 24/7 for almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in December.
Right.
So what would you say is your favorite product?
I wear the insoles all the time. That's kind of been my go-to. The thin insoles are great because you can take them out and put them in whatever shoes you happen to be wearing. Um, for work shoes and stuff, I wear the heavier duty stuff. I've got another pair for my golf shoes that just stay in there. So I like all of that. But I think really probably my favorite is the Harmony patch because um, if I'm goofing around out in the yard or something and like I twist an ankle or you know, do something
He's
where
still a klutz.
where I hurt. Yeah, I'm still a klutz. That's not going to change. Um, but if I do something where I get hurt, I can come inside and put a fresh patch on, and then just watch TV or whatever for a few minutes. And like 15, 20 minutes later, all of a sudden it's like, hey, whatever it was that was hurting isn't hurting anymore. And I go back out and do what I was doing. So I really do believe that this stuff works like a charm. And, I've seen enough of the literature and things and heard enough presentations where I know that the brain maps bear out that the longer you wear it, more consistently that you wear it, the more beneficial effects that you have. So I'm all on board with that.
So we do talk about how athletes do see an increased performance.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're not on the senior, what is it called?
Senior tour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the senior golf tour yet,
Yeah.
but you do like to go out there and hit the ball every once in a while. So what do
Mm-hmm.
you feel when you're wearing the technology?
So the weirdest thing, and it's like I didn't even notice it, because a lot of the things that happen with Vox are subtle things that, if you're not really thinking about them, you don't really necessarily pick up on your radar. But I noticed after a few rounds of golf, I'm going, when I'm standing over the ball, it used to be a very busy place in my head where, I would be trying to do 5,000 different things that I'd seen on the Golf Channel or on different tips or whatever, all at the same time, usually doing none of them very well. And I'm still not a good golfer, but I can get up there and I'm not in my own head when I'm standing over the ball getting ready to hit it. And that's an amazing thing for me too.
So this actually was kind of a conversation about what I like to call the fantastic F's, right? The focus on the F's, which is friends and family and first responders. And today, on Thanksgiving, I wanted Steve to come on and talk about the first responder aspect. So Steve is a retired cop for those that you don't know. So let's hear what your background is on in law enforcement.
So I've been in that business for about 40 years, all told. Started out as a reserve officer with the LAPD for a couple of years, got my training there. Spent a 33-year career with the Beverly Hills Police Department, doing all kinds of different things.
He was a Beverly Hills cop.
Yeah, I was a Beverly Hills cop. And then I worked for a DA's office for a while, and I worked for another police department here in Colorado as a civilian for a while. So I think I had a pretty good handle. I've supervised cops. I've been involved with training and whatnot. And so, police work is a young person's game in a lot of ways. You learn more the longer that you're in it, but it's a lot like being an athlete in many respects. It's, the older you get, the harder it is to continue to perform out in the field. And this stuff is great. I mean, it's hard to perform. It's hard to walk around with about 30 pounds of gear strapped around your midsection every day. After a while, your back hurts, especially when you're climbing in and out of cars and going over fences and, doing all kinds of things that you have to do. And to be able to have something that will help you with that is great. As I said, keeps you calm. What is there a possible benefit for being calm when you're in a law enforcement situation? Yeah, I'd say there is. It's a really good thing. I wish I had it when I was working, to be very honest. I've known a few people on the job who have tried it. Every one of them says, you know what, this is great stuff. I'm really loving this. So, yeah.
And again, it's one of those things too, where if you're not checking in with yourself to figure out what it is that you are not feeling anymore, it could easily just kind of get by you. And so I'm always asking people, okay, what exactly are you feeling? So I want to tell you that, you guys know now why law enforcement, first responders have a special place in my heart because of my baby here. I just want you to think about if you know anybody that is a first responder, and that could be police, fire, military, of course, all of the medical personnel that are out there, and even the essential workers, which are like, our electricians, our plumbers, our people that are keeping truck drivers especially. Yes. Please reach out to them. Let them know that this is a product that they might consider checking out, because I do feel that there is tremendous benefit for all walks of life, but especially these guys that really need it at this time. Anything else that you'd like to add?
This product talks to your individual brain. It sends a message through your nervous system to your brain to help your body do what your body assesses it needs to do. So it's going to work differently for every single person, although there are things in common. The better balance, the better stability, pain relief, things like that are all that go with the territory for everybody. But, you may have something that's bothering you that this product's going to come and touch that you didn't think was possible. So, again, you're not putting drugs in your system. You're not shooting yourself with electricity. It's amazing. The founder of this product, when asked at one point, well, how does this thing work? He said, there's a lot of things that we take for granted that we don't necessarily know exactly how it works. We know when we flip a light switch on that, the light's going to come on, but we don't necessarily understand everything that happens between the switch and the bulb. When we turn the key in the car, we don't understand necessarily every single system that goes into operation to make the car start, but they do, and this is the same kind of thing. I don't necessarily understand everything about it, but it works.
Great. So thank you very much for tuning in, and Stay tuned. There'll be more. Thank you, honey.
Of course.